Good morning. It's a guy Kawasaki. I am in Santa Cruz, California, and today you're getting oops, you're getting a blue view. Today you're getting a different view of me because like 3 minutes ago my camera refused to go on. It was on and we were fine, and then all of a sudden I did something. And I can't figure out why the camera don't go on. So I'm using now the built-in iMac camera. So you're getting a much wider view. So you can see that I truly am in a closet. Um, so yeah, this is a view you don't often get. Take a screenshot. It's a historical moment, and I hope you'll never get it again. So speaking of remarkable people guest this week was Lauren Coons. She is the CEO of a company called Pandora Bots. And basically, she is trying to commercialize and really sort of humanize and establish the use of chatbots as a technology. And so the chatbot that she has now is called Kuki, Kuki, and it has it's really quite interesting. This chatbot Kuki has won many of the Turing contests. The Turing test is this concept that people interacting with a chatbot can't tell if it's a human or a bot, and it's no one has exactly completely passed it yet, but her chatbot Kuki has won that contest, I think, 5 times. She has a very interesting background. She believe it or not, she has 2 degrees in well, 1 degree with a double major from Harvard, a BA, and in in 2 completely different majors. And after she graduated from Harvard, she spent a few years writing romantic novels. And then she, quote unquote, returned to robotics, which how many people return to robotics? Most people progress to robotics, but she comes from a long family of UC Berkeley mathematicians who, shall I say, were surprised that her first career pursuit was romantic novels. So anyway, so you'll learn this week about chatbots and AI. She kind of went on the record and said she thinks it's going to be about 2 years before it'll be very hard for people to tell, if they're dealing with a chatbot or not. Personally, I prefer dealing with a chatbot. So part of the podcast is me actually interviewing Kuki. So she set it up, and I interviewed Kuki as if she was a person. And there are places where she says stuff that's funny, and you can tell that it's not a human who was trying to respond. But basically, it was pretty good. And listen, if I could encounter a chatbot just to provide tech support, I would be perfectly happy. But even that, I don't think is really together yet. So if you want to learn about AI and chatbots, this week's Remarkable People podcast is Lauren Coons. Good question for us all is, have you encountered a chatbot that you found satisfactory? I can't tell you that I have, actually, but I wish I could. So let's open it up. Let me know if you've encountered a chatbot that you have found satisfactory and where, because maybe I'll go try it. So any questions? Jerry, her name is Kuki, Kuki, which is kind of odd. You would think you would name a chatbot that's artificially intelligent an intelligent sounding name, but what do I know? So, okay. So, let's see. I'm looking for the comments here. And if you have any questions, and you can ask anything. So, these days, I've been doing a lot of Clubhouse. So, and on Clubhouse, there's kind of 2 theories of Clubhouses. One is you go into a room and you just lurk and listen. You can also go into a room that's ongoing, and then you get invited on stage, and then you have the privilege of asking questions. And there's another theory where you create your own room, and then you invite people on stage to join you, and then you have a discussion about a particular topic. I, of course, have another theory, which is I establish a room. Usually I call it Ask Me Anything. And I have a rule on Clubhouse that no one else has, which is when I have a room on Clubhouse, I'm on stage and I'm the administrator slash moderator, and I only allow women to ask questions. And this is because I think that the voice of women has been suppressed for so long that I'm doing my tiny little bit to enable more women to have a voice and a seat at the table. So if you come onto my Clubhouse, ask me anything. If you're not a woman, you are not going to be able to ask a question. So, okay. So, Jeff, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. How do you see the use of chatbot, whereas the technology has not been completely developed and widespread use? I think the obvious first place for a chatbot is kind of providing, base level tech support, customer support. And I would be happy with that because I don't know about you, but I am just sick of being on hold for, oh my God, I spent half my life on Verizon on hold. So yeah, if they could just help me solve that. Of course, the ultimate in customer service is that you create a system that doesn't require customer support. What a concept. In my case, I'll tell you, this is like real life. So I am a Verizon business account holder because I have, I have a watch, I have I have an iPad, and I have, I have 5 phones on it. So I have a lot of accounts. And I'll tell you something. Pairing an Apple Watch and a Verizon phone takes an act of God. And then this act of God has to be repeated because every time, like, I damaged the watch, so I got another watch. So first I had the watch working. That took an act of God. And then the watch was damaged, so I got a replacement watch. So that took an act of God. And then iPhone 12 Pro Max, whatever came out. So now it's a new phone. So that took an act of God. And so right now, my Apple Watch is not paired to my Apple phone. So that means that this watch that I have, which has cellular service, cannot get messages, cannot take phone calls, cannot do anything because it's not paired yet. And I have spent so far about 2 hours on the phone. And of course, the way it works with Verizon is, after you get through their phone tree, the first person comes on and I say, listen, what I'm going to ask you to do is very hard. I've done this 3 or 4 times. If you haven't done it before, trust me, you don't want to do it. So just like elevate my case right now. And they say, oh, no, I've done it. And then, of course, they can't do it. And then it has to go through 2 levels of elevation. So this is not the anti-Verizon um, live video, but I'm just telling you, that's why I want chatbots. So chatbots that either can handle that or even better, make it so that you can truly just pair your watch and your phone without a chatbot. So anyway, is there quality that most distinguished personality from AI? I don't know if it's the personality, but my experience is just they don't quite get the nuances of a question, and I can't say that I blame them because some of it is very nuanced, and so yeah, they I think mostly they're looking for sort of factual questions, like who is Guy Kawasaki? Well, Kuki can go to the Wikipedia entry and then read that back to you and tell you who Guy Kawasaki is. But if it's a more subtle question, like, I don't know, is Guy Kawasaki funny? Or what's he most famous for? Or what's the mistakes he made? And those kind of questions, which a human would have to kind of interpret, kind of throw them for a loop, and gives you some very funny results, actually. Do you think that I think you're trying to say chat bots are better than email? Well, I mean, it kind of depends what's generating the emails. So if it's AI generating the email, it's probably a tie. If it's a human generating the email, hopefully that human truly understands what you're asking. So that would be the determining factors. Who's writing the email? Okay, what else? what all Kuki can do. Is it for customer support function only? I would say that Kuki right now is more a demonstration of what a chatbot can do. A Kuki is not really commercially applied yet. But Lauren Coons addresses this kind of issue in the episode. So what else there? Warby Parker has great chatbots. Huh. So yeah, let's go buy some glasses today. So, and Warby Parker also has really good. You put your face up there and it does augmented reality and it shows you what your face would look like with those various glasses. So Warby Parker definitely has its tech game together. Yeah. Let's see what else you got here. Please share one of the more productive rooms on Clubhouse. Huh. Huh. It's not that there aren't productive rooms. I just don't know the names of them because with Clubhouse, I basically cruise, and so I don't really, God, I don't memorize the names. I think one of the things that many people will find about Clubhouse is that it is an echo chamber of marketing people talking to marketing people, and many of the rooms are about so this is how you can be an influencer, and this is how you can position yourself as a thought leader. And go to my Instagram account and you'll find a link there for a free video. And then if you like the video, come to my seminar or buy my book. And so a lot of it is marketers talking to marketers, each convincing the other how successful they are, and they have the secret to getting rich quick. And I think if Clubhouse is going to have any kind of staying power, it has to get out of that stage, because just marketers talking about marketing isn't going to cut it. So what else there? Are there best situations to use chatbot and best to human? I think that's to be determined. And like right now, as I said, I would be happy if chatbots could just handle some of the simplest tech support and customer service questions, even if the answer is just to point you to a link. And in 2 years, as they get more and more sophisticated, I look forward to the day. A very interesting side note is that I obviously do, or we publish one episode per week, so we've done about 65 episodes, and you will. The interesting thing is that the recording of Kuki the chatbot needed the least amount of editing of any interview I've done, which you could say, well, it's because the chatbot has simplistic answers. But one thing that a chatbot doesn't do, and which requires a lot of editing, is chatbots never use filler words. So you would be amazed, like even the most remarkable, intelligent people, if you look at their verbatim transcript, they say things like, right, hundreds of times in an hour. And to the utter dismay of Jeff C. and Peg Fitzpatrick, who are part of the Remarkable People team, I like to cut all those filler words. And so chatbots, there's some advantages to a chatbot. So they never use filler words. Guess what? They're always on brand, right? They're never gonna go off into the deep talking about politics or sex. They work 24/7 by 365. I would say that, a chatbot hosted at Amazon Web Services is probably more reliable than a human, if you want it. And so creating a chatbot influencer with a, AI generated face, well, that sounds a lot better than worrying about whether your influencer is going to go off the deep end one day. So there are a lot of advantages there. And it's interesting. I read an article that during the pandemic, believe it or not, chatbots have served a meaningful purpose with people who are isolated during the pandemic, which is kind of a head scratcher there. So what else? I did my PhD dissertation by developing a chatbot that converses with heart failure patients. Well, that's interesting. So So I guess, when you can narrow it down to a specific topic like heart failure, I would think you could make a chatbot extremely intelligent and sophisticated. I would also think it's kind of scary because then, what if people depend on that for advice? There's got to be liability issues there, but I'm sure you figured that out. So, uh, is there any algorithm for chatbot could understand for problem customers should needs get support from real people and divert customer? Is there any algorithm for chatbots, let's say, to understand? Uh, Burkhan, I hope so. I mean, I think that's the holy grail where a chatbot could more or less understand a human problem and, you know, solve that. A lot of it, there's a lot of stuff going on, right? So, first of all, you need speech recognition so you can get the question into the chatbot. Then you need the intelligence and the machine learning once you got the information into the chatbot, what's the answer? And then you need speech synthesis to get it back out. And then with the chatbot, you need something that changes the facial expression. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. So it's amazing it works as well as it does. Do you think that the fact-based limitations of chatbots suffice use cases like customer service? I actually do. I think that they could probably cover 80% of the typical customer service questions. So yeah, I do actually. And it's kind of very esoteric. Like, well, it'd be interesting, right? So I could go to a chatbot and say, so my camera is no longer broadcasting video. And could the chatbot, at some level, is going to be really stupid, right? Like, so is your camera turned on? uh, but I mean, the questions are finite and the possible problems are finite. So I would think that um, I would I would love. Okay, this would be an interesting case, right? So if Verizon could have a chatbot that I could say, you know, let's say it's Vuki instead of Kuki. So Vuki, I need to pair my Apple Watch with my iPhone Pro Max 12 or whatever it's called. And the chatbot would say, do you have a personal or business account? And I would say business account. Because right now, if you go to Verizon and do that, the next step it says is you have an account type issue, call 800 whatever. So then it would say, okay, so now we know the guy has an enterprise account and he's trying to pair it to an iPhone. And so, then it could ask at least the IMEI numbers. It could ask, some of that basic information, which takes about 20 minutes on the phone already. So at least it could prep the human to actually, do the fixing with all the information that it needs. So anyway, that's my dream. Let's see. Madison Reed uses chatbots too. Now, how would you know that, Peg? Are you implying that your hair is not naturally that beautiful? So yeah, Madison Reed also uses a chatbot to help you decide on your hair color. Let's see, if the journeys are not simplified, an operator needs to rely significantly on her experience to do how to do suggest introduce chatbot. Do we need to set base before introducing chatbots? I don't know. I would think that the holy grail is you don't need to set the base, and you don't set the base with a human. So why should you have to set the base with a chatbot? But again, I think we're just early in the game. Someday, I think it's going to replace a lot of that. Would you consider Alexa an AI bot? Huh. That's an interesting question. See, how do I use Alexa? I use Alexa to turn on the light. I use Alexa to tell me surf conditions. I use Alexa to make phone calls. So I don't know if it's a chat bot because it's not like I'm having a real conversation with Alexa. With Alexa, it's kind of automation as opposed to chat in my mind, at least the way I use Alexa now. So, but it's close. It's close. When will we get to the point where chatbots are not just answering FAQs and doing some analysis? I would say the proverbial 2 years, which, if you know tech people, they always say something that they have no idea about when it's going to happen. They always say 2 years. So it's the proverbial 2 years. But it seems like it's 2 years is kind of, it's like asking a programmer, when are you going to be done? And they say, oh, in about a month. That means they don't know at all. Yeah, a chatbot cannot convince customers as much as Richard Branson, that's for sure. On the other hand, I wasn't asking Richard Branson to pair my watch and phone. Do you think using chatbots might boost brand loyalty? Yes, I do, actually. I mean, as you can see, or as you heard, Madison Reed, the hair color company, and Warby Parker both use chatbots. And my experience with both of them is positive. So, do I care if I'm talking to a chatbot or I'm talking to a human? If I can resolve, if I could call Verizon and get my problem resolved, do I care if it's a chatbot or a human? Not at all. In fact, I prefer a chatbot because just like a whole Verizon thread here, but like Verizon, believe it or not, enterprise Verizon customers, you can only call between 9 and 6 Monday through Friday. Like, wrap your mind around that. I thought if you're an enterprise customer, you're supposed to get better service. So, chatbots don't need to take the weekends off, and chatbots don't get viruses. Well, not pandemic kind of viruses. They may get computer viruses. So, yeah. How many of us dealt with chatbots handling the front end of customer service or entry phone calls? I think more and more. Absolutely, yes. So, Peg Fitzpatrick, my hair is Madison Reed beautiful. Of course it is. My hair is not Madison Reed. But wait, hang on for a second. Good thing I got pants on. I do have a box of Madison Reed hair color for men. Actually, I have 2 boxes, and I just haven't tried it yet because there is a possibility that they're going to use me for something. And so I thought, well, if they're going to use me for something, maybe they want a before and after. So I shouldn't use it yet because there'll be no before. And they swear that if I used it, it's not going to turn all the white into black, and all of a sudden I'm going to be looking like Wayne Newton. They said that, first of all, you can wash it out if you wash it 3 or 4 times, but really it's to kind of slightly change the color as opposed to make me go all, black hair, which would be funny. So, yeah, let's see. Are there inexpensive chatbot platforms for businesses to use versus complete proprietary development? What companies are leading this? I don't know the answer to that question. There are hundreds of companies that provide chatbots, but I don't know about their quality because I'm just not an AI kind of guy. So, yeah. Let's see. How well can a chatbot learn? Well, there's some funny stuff. So I think the Facebook, is the Facebook, or I think the Microsoft chatbot, what people do for chatbots to learn is they let them learn from Reddit or tweets or something. And so let's say your chatbot is learning from Reddit, and let's just say there are parts of Reddit where you wouldn't want them to learn what's going on in Reddit. And I think that's where the Microsoft chatbot went off the rails and became racist because it was learning from Reddit, which is kind of funny, shows you what's on Reddit. So yeah, that's a very interesting question. Where do you get the data to teach the chatbot what humans are like? Or, maybe you want a racist chatbot to match your customers. I don't know. RNC could use that. So let's see. Chat is for devices, systems, and most connected services seem like a bad fix for bad systems that should fix themselves. Yeah, talk is cheap, David Inner Simone. Is there any current work going on polyglot chatbots or chatbots which understand slang, nonlinear conversation? I guarantee you there's work going on like that because, I mean, in a sense, if a chatbot isn't polyglot or understands slang, it's just not going to work in the real world because, what can I say? Be interesting if you said to a chatbot, well, let's let it rip and see what happens, see what the chatbot thinks that means. In Australia, the chatbot might fart. So, who knows? So, let's see. Any more things? Well, again, this week's guest was the inimitable Lauren Coons, CEO of Pandora Bots. And let's see, I'll tell you who is coming. And so, I'm getting my app open here. So next week is Colin Breyer. Colin Breyer was the chief of staff of Jeff Bezos. After that, it's Lovey Ajayi, who is my favorite Nigerian. Man, she is a funny woman. So between Colin and Breyer and Lauren, we're going to cover a wide selection of topics. We're going from chatbots to what makes Amazon great to Lovey Ajayi. It's hard to categorize what Lovey Ajayi talked about because she's so freaking funny. It's like one of the funniest episodes ever. And I want to be an honorary Nigerian. Nigerians have such good insults. Oh my God. Nigerians know how to insult people. That is just a special skill. So, let's see. Any more questions? Because I'm going to go surfing right now. Well, first, I'm going to figure out why this camera is not working. Let's see. Let's see. So, I think that's it, Jeff. So, everybody have a great week. It's only Wednesday, so 2 more days and it's the weekend. Although in the pandemic, it's like Groundhog Day. Every day is the same for me. So, yeah. So, again, Lauren Coons, CEO of Pandora Bots, and maybe a first, well, I don't know, at least an early, I have a chatbot on my podcast recorded. So I'm talking to a chatbot. And again, next week is Colin Breyer, who is the former chief of staff of Jeff Bezos. And after that, Lovey Ajayi. So we have quite the lineup coming for you. So yeah, it's been fun. And take care, and I'll see you next week. And may also join me on Clubhouse. I'm on Clubhouse. Well, follow me on Clubhouse. That way you'll get a notice when I'm there, because I have not exactly systematized my appearance on Clubhouse. It's kind of like, it depends on who's at home. It depends on what the tide is like, because if I had a choice between going on Clubhouse or surfing, I go surfing. So if you have a pretty good rule of thumb is check the tide in Santa Cruz, and if it's high tide, it's much more likely that I will be on Clubhouse, because where I surf, it's best to surf at low tide. So when you see high tide and lousy weather, I probably will be on Clubhouse. And I usually name my room Ask Me Anything. But again, when I do my room Ask Me Anything, I only let women ask questions. So just be prepared for that kind of unusual perspective on social media. Okay. So thank you very much. Remarkablepeople.com. Please go there and download and subscribe to my podcast. Take care. Bye.